Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the national team selection, the worldwide one on eFootball. There's a European one as well. I'll do a separate review of that one. That should hopefully go live the next day or two. I've been doing reviews of all the national team packs, Argentina, France, and the other teams. Those are live on the channel if you want to check those out. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description. So if there's a particular player you want to hear about, click on the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So, we've got 11 players in here. We've got 2 4-stars. We're going to start with the lowest rate ones. Let's have a look at who we got. So we start with Sunil Chhetri. So, as I mentioned, got 2 4-stars. This guy's one of the 4-stars. He's a centre forward. He's a fox in the box. He's pretty small. He's got a low centre of gravity, 170 centimetres, but that does mean he won't be great from crosses. Auto allocation, fully boosted. He's actually decent, to be honest. He's got some decent stats here. The most important ones, obviously, that attacking awareness 90, finishing at 89. His pace is decent. It's not amazing. It's not electric. He's not going to be getting behind the defence and leaving defenders for dead. But he's not slow either. He's got a decent jump on him, but with his height, he's not going to be great in the air. Good balance at 91. Stamina's okay. Would like the passing to be a little bit better. If we look down at the skills, as you can see, he does not have first-time shot. He doesn't have through passing either. That's eFootball Hub, so there's no through passing, but first-time shot missing. That's a big, big miss. Heading's a nice one, obviously. Outside curler, also a nice one. Yeah, if you get this guy and you're going to use him quite a bit, first-time shot is a must. He doesn't have one unwavering form, and he's not going to be getting live update either. He's actually just retired, I believe. He doesn't have a face scan either, and if he's just retired, I'm guessing he probably won't get one. I think with this guy, he's going to come down probably primarily to whether he's played for a team you support or if you're from India, because he's a bit of a legend of Indian football. He's not a brilliant card. He's certainly got qualities, but I think, to be brutally honest, most of us have better options. There's not a lot here that's particularly low. I'd like him to be a bit better on the ball and have better passing. He does have good awareness and finishing. He'll certainly get into good positions to take chances for you. I don't think this is a bad card, to be honest. I just don't think it's quite that great that it'd be worth spending for him. If you do get him, like I said, I think most of us probably have better options in the centre forward area. So if you've got some emotional reason to sign him, if you're from India, for example, he could be a fun one to pick up. I imagine it's probably the last or one of the last opportunities that you have to get a version of him. There was one in the when they did those Asian Cup packs. There was an India pack. He was in that one. It was pretty much the same as this one, to be honest. Not much change. A few attributes slightly higher, slightly lower. But yeah, I don't think he's quite good enough that most people would want to keep hold of this guy if you do get him. But if you do get him and if you're going to use him, first-time shot is an absolute must. Now we have an interesting one. So we've got Supachai from Thailand. This guy is a dummy runner. It's a pretty uncommon playing style for a centre forward. He's got a bunch of positions here. I'm not going to bother training him centre mid or attacking mid. I've had a look. You can't make him good enough. Certainly centre mid is out of the question. Attacking mid, you can't make his passing good enough. But as an SS or centre forward, he'll have that dummy runner playing style active. And that does make him quite unique because there aren't many good dummy runners around. As you can see here, he's had quite a lot of good form. He's had a few Ds as well, but he's had some good form. He's one of the leading scorers in Thailand last season. And yeah, if we hit that boost here, see him fully boosted, he's got some decent attributes. He's not bad. It depends how you're going to use him. The way they've auto-allocated the points, there's no real, it's an interesting one. As an SS, his registered position, there's no real correct way to train an SS because it depends how you use him. You can have an SS playing behind the attack and you might want to playmate with him, or you might want an SS to be kind of running behind the attack and you want to focus on his ability to score goals, or you might use an SS out wide. Those wide forward areas, you can set that to SS. You could use him out wide and focus on his pace and dribbling. It just depends on how you're going to use him. So don't pay too much attention to the auto allocation. Train him however works for you. The way they trained him, to me, it's kind of like a centre forward, but with a bit more technical ability and not quite as much finishing. I'm actually going to start with a centre forward build. I'm going to see what the auto allocation does. So yeah, as you see, as a centre forward, they beefed his finishing up. They've actually given him some more physical as well, and they've sacrificed his ability on the ball. Me personally, I'm not sure how I'd train him. As a centre forward, I think that would work. He does have, if you look at the skills, he does have heading. The skills are correct in that he does have these 3 skills, but eFootball Hub is missing chip shot control. He has chip shot control as well. Heel trick's a nice one, but heading and first-time shot, 2 key ones. Jumping 80, he's about 6 foot tall, so he's got a bit of a leap on him. He's got heading, so he might be half decent from crosses. Is it worth keeping the points on physical to capitalise on that? If you don't really put crosses in, then maybe not. So you could take those points away from aerial. There are 8 points on there. If you take those points away, you can stick them on dribbling. That kind of build might be better for you as a centre forward. With that dummy runner playing style, the one thing a dummy runner is going to do is kind of like a goal poacher in the sense that he'll make a lot of runs forward, but he doesn't make them straight forward behind the defence. He kind of drifts off. He makes diagonal runs out towards the channels, and that takes the centre back with him and frees up space in the middle. It's quite a unique playing style, and it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So it might not be for you, but if you do like it, it can be very effective. The thing is, it's just a question of how you use him. Are you planning for him to get on the ball a lot, or do you want to just make those runs and free up space so you can then get the ball to players in the box? If you're not going to be getting him on the ball too much, then you don't really need that passing so much, but you might want him to be better able to pass the ball. So yeah, that initial centre forward build with the physicals could be a good all-round centre forward build. The way I've done it just here, putting more on his technicals, maybe that would suit you better. If you wanted a bit more on passing, if you took 4 back off dribbling there, you can get his passing up to 73 low pass. Maybe does that work better? There's a few different ways you could do it, but whichever way you do it, that attacking awareness at 90, the finishing at 90, when he does get into positions in the area to have a shot on goal, he's clearly got the ability to finish. He's got a pretty decent pace. He's got good balance. He's an interesting one, like I say. He's a little bit unorthodox. He's a little bit uncommon with that dummy runner playing style. And even though it's a 4-star card, I think he's pretty usable. And if we go back to SS, I don't think you need quite as much attacking awareness as an SS. Again, it depends how you use your SSs. It depends what works for you. I'm going to take a few from dribbling. They've gone not 14 on dribbling. That's a lot of points. I'm going to take 3 off there. Just leave them all 80 plus. Definitely need a bit more passing on an SS. Just go up to 8 on passing. Finishing at 85. It doesn't need to be quite so high as an SS. We've got 3 points spare. Where we're going to put them? Maybe lower bodies, get his kicking power up a bit. Odd maybe do that. SS with that dummy runner playing style being active again. Same kind of movement as a striker, just not quite as high up the pitch. He's still going to be drifting out to the channels into interesting spaces, taking defenders with him. Like I say, I keep saying it. It depends how you use him. There's different ways you can use an SS. There's different ways you can use a dummy runner. It is quite unique. For some people, it's just not your cup of tea. It just won't work for you, but it can be a very effective playing style. Ultimately, with this guy, he's got some of the most important skills. You might want some more on him. I think maybe his one-touch pass and through passing will be the first ones to put on him. Really improve that passing a little bit. But yeah, he does have qualities. You can train him a bunch of different ways. You can use him a bunch of different ways. And for a 4-star card, I think it's a very interesting one. It's actually quite a decent card in my opinion. Now we have a centre-back. We've got Jordi Amat from Indonesia. I believe this is the first feature version we've had of him. And to be honest, it's not bad. He only goes up to 92, so you think he's not going to be great, but we hit that boost there. You see him fully boosted. Those defenses, the most important attributes, they're fantastic. Really, really strong, especially the defensive awareness at 96. He's not the quickest. His jumping's not brilliant. He's only 6 foot tall, but he does have great physical contact as well. So there's some really good attributes here. Some of them not brilliant, but he's got some really good ones. Down the left here, he's pretty much what you'd expect for a centre-back. He's not brilliant. Certainly the dribbling type possession. Be careful in possession with this guy, but the ball control could be worse. The passing could certainly be worse. So he's a guy who's got some qualities. He's got unwavering form as well. If we scroll down and have a look at his skills, that's the problem. He needs more skills. He desperately needs more skills. Heading, okay, that's a good one. Captaincy, fair enough. It's nice to have captaincy, but where are the important ones? As I mentioned, he's only 6 foot tall. With jumping 81, he really desperately needs aerial superiority. And then he needs the key ones for a centre-back. Interception, man marking, blocker. Those 3 with aerial, that's 4. You only have 1 space left after that. Maybe his acrobatic clearance or sliding tackle. Maybe fighting spirit. The skills are a big issue. I think ultimately, just for the skill issue, for most people, this card probably wouldn't be worth keeping hold of, but he does have qualities. If you don't have many centre-back options, and especially if you're Indonesian or if he's played for a team that you support, he might be one you want to keep, in which case it'd be well worth putting the skills on because he is very usable. In terms of how the points are allocated, I would nick some from defending there. You can lose 3 off there, and you're still 90 plus on all of them. You could nick 1 off aerial even, as long as you give him aerial superiority. I'm just seeing how many points we can free up. Beef his pace up a little bit. What would we need to do there? 1 on dexterity, get his acceleration to 70. Now we've got 5 left. Passing up, low pass up to 70, and then get his ball control up to 70. I think that's a nice, well-rounded build in this guy. Like I say, that's dependent on you giving him aerial superiority, because his jumping needs to be higher. But if you do give him aerial superiority, I think he'll be okay in the air. Physical contact's good, defenses are all good. We've got these technicals up a bit, so the ball control and low pass is 70. Bit more pace on him. Like I say, I think based on his attributes, that's a very usable centre-back. By no means a top-level centre-back, but very usable. He's got unwavering form. It just comes down to those skills. So if for whatever reason you get this guy and you fancy keeping hold of him, give him the skills, give him aerial superiority, interception. I think man marking block will be the next two I put on him. And if you do all of that, I think he could be actually a very usable centre-back. And now we have Dion Cools from Malaysia. So this is an interesting one. As far as I'm aware, he usually plays as a right back or a right wing back in real life. He does have those positions, but he's down as a centre back with the build-up playing style. This card, sadly, is one of those cards where he's got multiple positions, but he just doesn't really excel in any of them. So we start off as a centre back, and as we see here, fully boosted as a centre back, he's lacking defensive awareness and he's lacking physical contact. Those are two very important attributes in a centre back. But we'll give him credit for the qualities that he's got, because the other defensive attributes are great. His pace is fantastic for a centre-back. Jumping is decent. Stamina is decent. Down the left here, he could certainly be worse. But for me personally, defensive awareness only 84, physical contact 80. He won't be getting in my team anytime soon. And if we look down at the skills, big problem. He has precisely 0 defensive skills. So if you're going to get this guy and use him at centre-back, you're going to need to put 5 skills on him. And you're going to probably have to give him the 5 most important centre-back skills to make him usable. So a bit of a shame that. But yeah, in terms of the attributes, like I say, give him the credit where it's due. He's got some great qualities there, but with no defensive skills whatsoever, defensive awareness so low and the physical contact so low, for me, it's just not a particularly good centre-back card. If we try him as a right-back, we'll go with the auto allocation initially. So again, we've got some qualities. Great pace. Stamina's good. Physically pretty good for a right back. Balance isn't great though. Defensive's pretty solid. Would be nice if they were all 80 plus, but you can't have it all. And down the left, bit of a concern. He's not great technically. Some people don't mind that. If you don't mind that, fair enough. Certainly if you plan to use this guy as a defensive fullback, especially if you put the defensive instruction on him, they might not be important to you. For me personally, they're very important. I need my forwards to be comfortable on the ball and to not give the ball away, and this is fully boosted. Some of these attributes are horrible. And again, if you use him as a right back, whether it's an attacking fullback or a defensive one, certainly attacking, you've got pinpoint crossing. Don't think dipping shots going to make a lot of difference to much, but any kind of fullback, you need defensive skills. That's a big issue. So yeah, to be honest, out of the 3 positions, as a right back, if you put the defensive instruction on him, you use him as a defensive fullback, and if you gave him the skills, he could be usable. That's probably the most usable he could be. But even then, he needs the skills, and I would still shuffle some of these points around. If you took some of that low body weight, you could certainly lose some points of speed, but then you've got to keep an eye on that stamina. 86 stamina is a bit dodgy. Don't need all that aerial. Can we make him usable technically? Not really. I mean, kind of okay-ish, but you've lost a bit of that stamina there. Still not great balance. Lost a bit of the physicals. Yeah, like I say, you could tweak these points around as a right back, and you could probably make him usable in some way to some extent, but without more skills, I think you're really stretching it. It's not great. More usable as a right back than a centre back, I think, but still not a brilliant one. And then right midfield, I'll just show you the auto allocation. It's pretty clear. He's not really cut out for right midfield. There's no real ability on the ball, and with his technicals, you lose a lot of the defensive ability. Yes, he's still got great pace, a good engine, but again, ultimately for me, even though he's got qualities in all 3 of these positions, without any defensive skills whatsoever, and the fact that there are weaknesses in any position, he's just not really that great of a card for me. So yeah, this one for me is a bit of a dud, unfortunately. Now we come to an interesting one. So I think a lot of people, when they look at this pack, there are some cards like the ones we've looked at, and including this one, Percy Tau, they're going to look at some of these cards and think, who's this guy? They're not going to recognize who they are. They might just assume that they're not going to be very good. And sure, some of these cards might not be particularly great, but with this guy, I think he's pretty neat. We're going straight to that boost. And if we look at this guy fully boosted, he's got some qualities here. He's pretty good on the ball. The attacking awareness is pretty good. Decent passing there. Finishing could be worse. It depends where you use him. Got a bunch of positions. Pretty good pace. Good balance. I quite like the look of this guy. So he's a whole player. He's left-footed, and he can play right midfield, attacking midfield, SS. He can play as a wing forward on the left. I wouldn't personally use him as a centre forward because he can't get his awareness and his finishing both high enough to play as a striker, but as a forward, wide left, SS, AMF, or right midfield. Whole player playing style as well. That whole player playing style will be active SS, attacking mid, or right mid. I quite like the look of this guy, to be honest. I wouldn't do much with the way his points are allocated. I think if I'm going to use him as a wide man, what I would do, I would just nick one from dribbling, and I'll just get his lower body up one. Just nice to hit that 90 mark on speed. I like the look of this guy. I think he's pretty neat. The pace is good, like I say, and the balance is good. He's good on the ball. If you're playing him out wide, I think he's got enough passing. He's not brilliant passing, but it's just about enough. He can get away with that. Finishing could be worse. If we look down at the skills, got a couple of skill moves, rising shots, heel trick's a nice one. He's got a first time shot. He's got one touch pass. He does have through passing. It's an error with eFootball. I've checked in game. He does have through passing. He also has chip shot control. So one touch pass, through passing, first time shot. In terms of end product, he's decent. Sure, he's not amazing. He's not top tier by any means, but bit of end product, good on the ball, good awareness. That marries up nicely with his playing style of whole player. Good stamina likewise. That goes well with the whole player playing style. And that pace and the balance. I like the look of this guy. I like to use inverted wingers. I like a right-footed left midfielder and a left-footed right midfielder. I have a lot of right-footed players who can play left midfield, but I don't have many options as a left-footer playing on the right. So for me, this guy looks neat. As an attack midfielder, I don't think his passing is quite good enough. As an SS, I think I would stick with this build. It'd be great. Likewise, as a sort of wide forward on the left, I think that would work. I would put pinpoint crossing on if you plan to use him there. Maybe outside curler as well. But yeah, SS or a wide man, I think this build would work. I think he's neat. He's got the pace. He's good in the ball. I think it's a tidy little card. If you play him as an attack midfield, like I say, the passing probably not quite high enough. So I would, what would I do? I don't think you need quite as much speed in that area of the pitch. So we took 3 off speed. Get a couple on his passing, got 1 left over. Maybe take 1 off shooting and got 2 left over when we put that back on his speed. Yeah, I would do that. Attack midfielder, as I mentioned with his skills, he has 1 touch pass and through passing, so he's got decent passing. Not amazing, but decent. Still a bit of finishing on him as well. And then still you've got the ability on the ball. Still good pace, balance. I think you've got a bunch of positions where you can use this guy. He's got some end product. He's got a decent selection of skills. And I don't think there are too many left-footed whole players you can play right midfield. Obviously, there's the new Griezmann legend card from the France pack, but maybe this could be a budget Griezmann for you. I don't know. But certainly for me, looking at this guy, looks like a nice card to me. I think he's one who a lot of people might not take a second look at him. They just take one look and think he doesn't look great. Maybe you might not realize how decent he could be. I think it could be a very useful card. So yeah, for me, this one's a little bit better than a lot of people might realize. It's a nice looking card. And speak of nice cards, my boy Wilmer Barrios is in the pack. If you've been playing eFootball and PES for a while, you'll know this guy's a bit of a PES legend. He's brilliant. He's very much a defensive midfielder, got the anchorman playing style, and as you can see here, before we even hit the game plan boost, 90 plus all those defensives. Very, very nice indeed. Let's hit that boost. So fully boosted, he's a defensive monster. The passing is decent. I would like him a bit better on the ball there. The ball control concerns me a little bit. Decent enough pace. Jumping in physical just shy of 80. I'm going to try and nudge them up in a moment. Balance is good for DMF. Stamina 93 is great. Unwavering for me. He won't get live update. I forgot to mention that with Percy Tau just now. He won't get live update either, which is a bit of a shame. Same with Barrios. Unless they join teams in Europe in licensed leagues, they won't be getting ALB form. But Barrios does at least have unwavering form. If we look down the skills, only thing that's wrong here, he does not have through passing. Double touch and rising shots, I don't see them coming into the equation a great deal with this guy with the way he's going to play, but 1 touch pass, and then defensively, man marking, interception, acrobatic clearance, captaincy, fighting spirit, blocker, sliding tackle. He has a great selection of skills defensively. I think the only one you could really put on him to give him even more be aerial superiority. Might be worth putting that on him, to be honest, to really complete the set of defensive skills. Maybe worth putting through passing on as well. Maybe beyond that outside curler. But yeah, he's got a great selection of skills. In terms of these points, how they're allocated, a lot of people aren't too concerned with that left column. They won't really think that's an issue. I think that's fine. If that's the case for you, good for you. Straight out of the box is a fantastic DMF for you. You could even, if that's the case for you, you could take even more off his passing and then use those points to beef up his physicals. And what else would you do? Bit more acceleration. Still got 2 points. Another one is aerial. You could do that, to be honest. get him even stronger physically, nice. But if you're like me, you like a bit more technical ability on a defensive midfielders. For me personally, I can't have a defensive midfielder who's not comfortable on the ball and who's going to be liable to give the ball away with poor passing. It's very important not to give the ball away in front of your defence. So for me personally, it's just what I do. I'm going to nick one back off aerial. I nick a few off defending. I just want them to be 90 plus. For a defensive midfielder, 90 plus in all 4 of them is fantastic. So those extra points, I don't think I'll miss them personally. I don't think you need quite as much speed on him. I'm going to nick those away because I really want to beef him up a bit technically. So I want 5 more on dribbling to get to that 80 mark on ball control. And then we've got 10 points left. Are they all going and passing? I'm going to take those couple of increases back from dexterity. Where can we get his passing? 88. Boom. I think a lot of people would say that maybe is a bit excessive on his passing, but I don't care. That's what I would do. I want his passing as nice and high. So now he got him a bit tidier on the ball there. Nice passing, still 90 plus in all the defensives. Jumping and physical, both 80. Balance is good at 86. Stamina still great at 90. Yes, he's not the quickest, but he's not the slowest either. Great skill set there. Honestly, this for me is a fantastic defensive midfielder. It's such a shame he doesn't get live update. If he did, it'd be like having a legend card. It'd be so good. But with unwavering form, he's very rarely going to end up with an orange or a red arrow in your game plan. So for me, as a defensive midfielder, great card. In terms of his other positions, you can't make him particularly great as a right back. On auto allocation, as you see there, yes, he's still brilliant defensively. Got a bit of pace about him. Great stamina. In fact, he could be usable as a right back. Maybe I spoke too soon there. It's probably going to come down to those technicals. They've only put 4 on the passing and dribbling. The defensive, they've got 8 on defending. Does he need to be that high for a fullback? I mean, I don't know. His pace for me is not, I think most people would agree, he's not quite quick enough as a right back. I would take some points away from defending then. So if we go just 4 on defending, he doesn't really need that increase in aerial. But look at those lower body there. He's up to 14. So every increase on lower body now is 4 points each. Is it worth it? I'm not so sure. Kind of need to get those technicals up a little bit. Would that be a good build as a right back? I don't know. Possibly. Something like that maybe as a right back. Because a defensive right back, and let's be honest, he's going to be a defensive right back. He's not going to be bombing forward and doing much going in attack. But you could get away with it. You could tweak those points a little bit. If you're not so bothered about technicals, you could nick some points from there, make him stronger defensively. Maybe put in his physical or dexterity. But some build along those lines, you could make him usable as a defensive right back. But I think it's one of those cards where I wouldn't train him in any other position to his register one because he's just so good as a defensive midfielder. I think it would be a waste. But if you've got the previous featured one, then maybe one trained in a different position if you've already got one who's playing DMF for you. And the other position we could look at, he's not good enough offensively as a CMF. I'm not going to bother with that. You'd have to give him through passing and really shuffle the points around. And yeah, not for me. But certainly as a centre-back, as you see there with auto allocation, those defensive attributes, insane. Pace for centre-back is okay. Jumping and physical, not amazing, but decent. Bear in mind, he's about 5'10", I think. 5'9", 5'10". He's not the tallest. So you would really need to put aerial superiority on him if you do use him as a centre-back. But as you can see with the attributes, there are some real qualities there. You don't need that much defensively. So as you can see with defending, he's on 16. So those last 4 increases are 4 points each. That's going to give us 16 points. Definitely put some on his aerial. What else would we do? Should we go all the way to 90? Yeah, I think that's worth doing. We'll just nick that point from passing. Bosh. 90 jump, 90 physical contact. I think I would probably do that as a centre-back if I was going to use him as a centre-back. If you gave him aerial superiority and he built him something like this, getting his jump and physical up to 90, I think he could be a really interesting centre-back. I'm just not sure. Would he need a bit more pace to really complete him? I don't know. No, I think he's got enough to be a really usable centre-back, to be honest. I mean, the chart here, it's not always exactly right, but it's a pretty good guide. 98 is telling you he's pretty good at centre-back. It doesn't lie. So, yeah, down the left here, pretty decent for a centre-back. In the 90s, all these, that's great for a centre-back. Jumping and physical, 90, although the jumping needs to be with his height, and you need to give him aerial superiority. Great balance for a centre-back, great stamina for a centre-back. Pace isn't brilliant, but it could be worse. Yeah, as a centre-back, could actually be very usable. So stick area superiority on him. Centre back is a genuine option, but yeah, however you do him, I'll leave it on the defensive midfielder auto allocation. As you can see here, if you're not familiar with this guy, you will be now. Really, really good defensive midfielder, and if you are familiar with him, you've probably already spun the back and got him by now. He's a brilliant defensive midfielder. Few different ways you can train him. Could maybe do right back. Could certainly make him a very interesting centre back. And yeah, he's a very good card. I'll change my mind. I'm going to do a centre midfield build. I said I wasn't, but I just quickly looked at it after I stopped recording that last review. So let's just have a look. So you can get his passing up to 90. You don't need as much defensive on him if he's a centre midfielder. Get a bit more technical on him, a bit tighter on the ball. We'll give him more dexterity as well. Don't need quite as much speed. Got the stamina still at 90. Couple more dexterity. And then 3 points left. We'll give him one more dribbling. Yeah. So there you go. You can actually make him a good centre midfielder as well. I would give him through passing for sure. I'll give him outside curler. You can maybe give him 1 or 2 other offensive attributes. He'll be playing without a playing style active, just like if he was playing as a centre back or right back. So he'd probably be kind of like a box to box, but not quite as aggressive with his movement. Quite neutral in terms of his movement and positioning, but certainly with the attributes. Bit of an all-rounder, great balance of stamina, defensively strong, tidy enough on the ball, great passing. Another way you could use this guy, but like I said with right back, I think it'd be a bit of a waste considering how good he is as a defensive midfielder, which is what he's supposed to be. You can make him a brilliant centre back as well if you give him area superiority. But yeah, as I mentioned, brilliant card. Got different ways you can use him, defensive mid or centre back. Sorry, you can make this guy really, really very good. So yeah, worth a look at this guy. And now we have Hwang from Wolves. So this guy's interesting. We've had a couple of previous feature versions. There was one Wolves card. The main difference between this one and the Wolves card is that this one has left midfield and right midfield. And there was also one in a career pack for the Asian Cup. And the only real difference between this one and that one is that this one has a club affiliation. So this one is kind of assigned to Wolves. So it looks like you'll be able to use it in the English League Challenge. Outside of that, in terms of the attributes and the skills, not a great deal of difference to those previous ones. It's pretty much the same. But yeah, we'll start down the skills. He does not have scissors feint. He does not have through passing. He does also have a long range curler. So long range curler is missing. Scissors feint and through passing he does not have. Track back, he's a super sub, always nice. Not a great deal in terms of end product though. Long range curls are very good one if you play him off the left flank and as a centre forward. But could do with maybe his first time shot if he's a centre forward. One touch pass and through passing, always good ones to have. Depends where you use him. Again, he's a dummy runner. We've got 2 dummy runners in the same pack. That's unusual. Looking at the attributes, let's fully boost him. As you can see, he's got some nice attributes here. He's got some good qualities. The awareness, 90 odd, tidy enough on the ball. Passing is not brilliant. Pretty decent finishing. Kind of similar to Chaided, to be honest. Supachai. More pace though. That pace is very good. The acceleration, especially. And 98 acceleration. Yikes. He's going to be super responsive. Good bounce as well. He's got a little bit of physical ability. He's very two-footed. That's interesting. You can play him as a centre forward. You can play him wide as well. Dummy runner playing style won't be active out wide. I wouldn't personally put him on the right. He can't cross to save his life. Although he's two-footed, he can go inside and outside. Does he have outside curler? No, he doesn't. But he probably wouldn't need it, being as two-footed as he is. I think for this guy, though, centre forward or wide left coming inside onto his right foot is a kind of inverted winger. The 2 ways to use him. He's got long-range curler. It depends how you play the game. If you don't like dummy runners, he'll be more of a kind of, like I say, a left winger, inverted winger for you. If you do like the dummy runner playing style, he's pretty interesting looking, to be honest. He's got some nice attributes there. Will we change anything around? I want to get that passing up a bit. We can nick 1 from dexterity for a start. That's 3 points on passing. I would maybe just do that, to be honest, as a centre forward. I don't think he needs to do a great deal more. It would be nice if his finishing went up to 90, but it's not too far off at 88. That attacking awareness with the pace, good finishing, decent enough on the ball. It's going to be interesting. As I mentioned when we looked at Supachai, dummy runner will make runs out into the channels, diagonal runs, taking defenders with them. It's a very interesting playing style. It's quite unique. It's not for everyone. If you don't like it, he's obviously not going to be for you as a centre forward. But if you do like dummy runners, this guy's interesting. He's very mobile, responsive. He's got some really good qualities. And if you train him to play wide left, We'll just see what the auto allocation does. So playing wide left, pretty good on the ball now. Awareness is down a little bit, still good though for a wide man. Better passing, still got decent finishing, especially with that long range curler skill. Still got good pace, decent balance. It's taken a bit off his dexterity, obviously, and decent enough stamina. Playing wide left, he could be good. He's certainly not an elite level left winger by any means. I think a lot of us have probably got better options, but that doesn't mean this is a bad one. I think it's decent. He won't have a playing style actively playing there, but he's got some qualities. Probably needs 1 or 2 skills, but yeah, a few skill moves for the dribblers and rising shots, acrobatic finishing, and long range curler. Like I say, there's a bit of end product there. Super sub as well. Useful super sub. Put him on either flank with his pace, his technical ability could be useful. Stick him up front as a super sub. If you're trying to unlock your opponent's defense second half, sticking a dummy runner on as a super sub will open up some spaces. So yeah, I don't think it's an elite level card by any means, but it's certainly a very decent one. You've got a couple of different ways you can use him. So yeah, it's another pretty nice card, to be honest. And now we have Anguissa from Napoli. So I had a previous version of this guy, and that was when he was a destroyer. They changed him to box a while back. My destroyer one I used as a defensive midfielder, and he was fantastic. He was one of my favourite defensive midfielders to use in my kind of double pivot. I like orchestrators, destroyers. Sometimes one of mine will be one of my defensive mids will be a box to box. But my destroyer version of this guy from a Napoli pack, really, really effective. He's a big physical dude. He's got physical presence. He can defend. He's technically tidy enough, not amazing. But yeah, they changed it to box. So you've got 2 ways you can use him, DMF or CMF. As a DMF, he's going to get up and down the pitch quite a bit. As a CMF, likewise. But yeah, as a DMF, depends how you want to use him. If you want a DMF who's getting up and down the pitch, fine. If you want a DMF who's just going to defend, you're going to want to reallocate some of these points, and you're going to want to put the defensive instruction on him. If we look at him fully boosted, as a DMF, I would certainly look to shuffle some points around. I'll just do the auto allocation as a DMF, see what it does. Oof. So it certainly beefs up his defensive attributes. Very strong there. Pretty good pace for a DMF. The jumping and the physical good. Certainly physically he's very strong, as I mentioned. He's a strong boy. Not a lot of balance. He's going to be a little bit awkward at times, but it's never been too much of an issue for me with the one that I've got. Stamina's great. Down the left, tidy enough on the ball. Passing's the one where I'd like it to be a bit higher, to be honest. I'd like a bit more on his passing. I would probably nick a few from defending. You could nick 4 from defending and really beef his passing up. Do you need that much in his passing as a DMF? Probably not. Probably not. But I would do something along those lines. But yeah, as a DMF, again, like I say, you need a defensive instruction if you don't want him running forward. But he's certainly got a lot of ability. Physically strong, he can defend. He's got a bit of technical ability as well. If we look down at the skills, he has scissors feint. That's the one that's not listed here. Double touch as well somewhere else. The dribblers might like this guy. 1 touch pass, weighted pass. Could do with through passing. That's the one skill he probably needs. Not too important as a DMF, but certainly as a CMF he needs through passing. But 1 touch and weighted are there. That's good. Track back, interception, sliding tackle. So he's got some good defensive ones. You might want blocker. You might want man marking. You might want aerial superiority to really capitalize on how physically strong he is, make him good in the air. But yeah, certainly very usable as a DMF. Decent card. And as a CMF, we go back to the auto allocation. Would I change much there as a CMF? Probably not. I think that's a decent build. You could do it with a bit more dexterity, a bit more balance, and a bit more attacking awareness. We could nick a couple from his dribbling. Anywhere else? Maybe nick one from his lower body. What does that give us? Perfect. Gives us just enough points to get 4 more on his dexterity. I would do that. I think it's worth it. A bit more attacking awareness and a bit more balance. If he's going to be centre midfield, box to box, getting up and down, got a bit of everything, I would definitely put through passing on him. But I think he's a decent option. Not the most kind of nimble, maneuverable, but good amount of pace, physically strong. Defensively, he can do a bit of his defensive work. He's got interception, tidy enough technically. I'll give him through passing. You could have a decent all-rounder there as a centre midfielder. So, yeah, like I say, he doesn't look amazing. He doesn't look outstanding. There's nothing special about him. But whichever way you use him as a centre mid or a defensive mid, like I say, my Destroyer card that I've used quite a lot as a DMF, I've really liked that. It's a good, solid card. So, yeah, he doesn't look anything amazing, but he could be a solid card and might be one that's worth keeping hold of if you get him. And here is our goalkeeper. We've got Navas from PSG. So, I've got a player of the week version of this guy. goes to the same overall rating, or it is the same overall rating that this one goes to. But as is the case with Player of the Week goalkeeper, he's got rubbish jumping, but his goalkeeping attributes are a bit better. So I prefer the Player of the Week version that I've got. This is decent though. It's not as good as the previous nominating contract version that we've had of him, but still a very usable keeper. If you hit that boost, see him at the maximum available boost. As you can see, the goalkeeper awareness goes to 90, which is great. Reflex is 94, that's fantastic. Catching 85 is pretty good. Parrying 88 is great. But there's one concern, 81 reach. He's 6'1". It's not the smallest keeper, but it's not huge either. 6'1" with 81 reach, that is a bit of a concern. The jumping again, eFootball helps dodgy. It's higher than that. So we take that down and put it back up again. It corrects itself. 91 jumping is great. So there's only one concern with this guy, and that's his reach is a bit dodgy. He's got unwavering form. So he's not going to be, it depends who he plays for next season, but he's not been playing much for PSG. So he's not been getting much form at all, as you can see from the chart there. But unwavering form though, which is good. Down here, low punt, long throw, penalty saver, that is correct. Those are the skills he's got. But yeah, just the reach. If you went with the auto allocation, reach isn't ideal. The rest of his attributes are very good. If you wanted to tweak those, where the points are allocated, he doesn't need that quite as much jumping. So we'll nick those 4 points back to start with. I know some might not agree with me, but you can take that down by 4 and he's still at 90 reflexes. That gives us 12 points. Boom. 4 straight onto his reach. So now we've got the 90 for awareness and reflexes. His parrying is up to 92. Most goalkeepers don't go that high on parrying. Catching is at 81 now, which isn't ideal, but we've got that reach up to 85. I personally think that's a better build. He's a bit more well-rounded now. I think we've increased an important attribute there that wasn't high enough. So on 6'1", 85 reach, that's now okay. It's still not great, but it was poor before. Now it's okay. I personally would do that. I think that's worth doing. And yeah, like I say, whichever way you do it with the building, stick with the auto allocation, tweak it the way I have. However you do it, I think this is a pretty good solid goalkeeper card. It's not a super elite level keeper. There are better ones. The reach is still a slight concern, but he's got some really strong attributes there. You could certainly do a lot worse. So yeah, it's a decent option for a goalkeeper. And now we have Araújo from Barcelona. So it's a good version of him. We have had a legend card of Araújo from quite recently, and we've had a Showtime one as well. Both of those are better than this one, but apart from those, this one's about as good as we've had. It's a good centre-back card. He's a destroyer. We'll get that boost straight away. See him fully boosted. As you can see here, defensive attributes, fantastic. Good pace for a centre-back. He's got good jumping and physical. Down the left here, pretty average for a centre-back. He's a good solid centre-back card. He's got unwavering form. Has been a bit inconsistent. He's had a few dodgy weeks for Barca. Hopefully he'll be more consistent next season. But yeah, unwavering form. Looking down here at the skills, he does not have through passing. Again, through passing is incorrectly listed here on eFootball Hub. All the rest are correct though. Heading, man marking, interception, acrobatic clearance, fighting spirit, aerial superiority, blocker, sliding tackle. Everything you want in a centre-back. So he's got a great selection of skills for a centre-back. Would I tweak the points? Yeah, slightly. I wouldn't do a lot. I would nick one from there, stick one on there, and I've got 1 point left. Boom. Get his low pass up to 70 as well. So low pass up to 70. Defensive is still on 90 plus. Jumping and physical, both 90 plus, as is heading. Speed is at 80. Acceleration is over 70. It's just a really good solid centre-back card, to be honest. It's not, if he was going to be a really, really elite level centre-back, then, you'd maybe want a bit more down the left, possibly a bit more balance, I guess. But really looking at this guy, complete set of skills, unwavering form. He's excellent where he needs to be. Really good centre-back. In terms of his positions, could you train him as a right-back? Well, for me personally, not really. It's that left column, horrible on the ball as a right-back. If you were going to shuffle the points around, you could take the defending down to just 4. You don't need that much aerial on the fullback. Where would you put the points? That's the question. Yeah, still not brilliant. If you really don't mind these technical ones being low on a fullback, fair enough. You could make him a defensive fullback. He's big, he's quite physically strong. He's defensively great. He might be able to do a job for you as a defensive fullback, but ultimately for me, without having more pace and more technical ability, I wouldn't waste him at fullback. I would just stick him at centre-back. Whether you go with the auto allocation or do what I did, it's a really good centre-back card. We finish up with Mo Salah. So, we have had quite a lot of Mo Salah cards on the game, as you'd expect. And sadly, there have been quite a few who have been better than this one. Not miles better, but this goes to 96. We've had a whole bunch that go to 97. There's been 1 or 2 that go to 98 or higher. So yeah, certainly by no means the best Mo Salah card, but if you don't have a good version of him, this is still a fantastic card. As you can see, he's had some fantastic form. He's got unwavering form as well on top of that. If you see him fully boosted here, you just look at how many attributes are over 90. He's got great pace, balance, great on the ball, really good attacking awareness for a wide forward, finishing at 90. The only thing you'd really like to be a bit higher really is the passing, but it's still not too bad on a wide forward. It could be worse. In terms of the points, would you do much with the points? I don't know if you really need to. Where could you get points? I mean, you could nick a couple from passing. The only thing I'm looking at is kicking power. It'd be nice to get up to the 80 mark. Boom, there. Nick a bit off his passing, get his kicking power up. It's a fantastic card. If you look down the skills, there's a few missing on eFootball Hub. He's also got scissors feint, chip shot control, and long range shooting. So long range shooting, long range drive, rising shots. He's going to have a really good shot on him. Outside curve's a nice one as well. Personally, I think skill-wise it's pretty obvious what he needs. One touch pass and through passing to help improve his passing, which is a bit dodgy. Maybe his first time shot as well, but his shooting's already going to be fantastic with a few shooting skills to back it up. And like I say, with all these attributes as they are, if you've already got a version of Salah, there's a good chance it's better than this one. You might not need it. But if you don't have one, then this is still a fantastic card. It would be nice if it was obviously as good as all the previous ones, but it is what it is. It's still a great card. And sure, he's only got one position. You could position train him for other positions. You can make him a fantastic centre forward. I wouldn't do much at all with the way his points are allocated as a centre forward. You can make him really good in that position as a centre forward. But yeah, as he is, only one position, but in that position, he's absolutely brilliant. Not as good as a lot of previous versions of him, but still great. So yeah, there you go. Great Salah card. So there you go. That's that pack for you. It's an interesting one. I think for most people, there are going to be a bunch of cards in this pack that don't really appeal. I don't think a lot of Sunil Chhetri, Dion Cools as well. I think those two for me are the duds. Jordi Amat, for some people, he desperately needs skills, but if you are willing to put the skills on him, he could be a very usable centre-back. Supachai, I think, is an interesting one. It comes out of the playing style more than anything. If you like a dummy runner, he could be an interesting one to pick up. It could be useful. Percy Tau, I think a lot of people might not realise how good this guy is. I think he's a really neat little card to pick up. Barrios for me. Yes, there are cards in here that you could argue are technically better, but it's only the second time I've had a special version of him, and he's fantastic as a defensive midfielder. You can also make him a beast of a centre-back. Hwang could be a useful one, wide left or centre forward. Again, he's a dummy runner. If you like the dummy runner playing style, you don't often get a good dummy runner in this game, so it could be a good one to pick up. Anguissa, nothing special, but a good solid centre mid or DMF. Navas, solid goalkeeper option. You might want to try and get his reach up like I showed you. And then you've got a really good centre-back card in Araújo. And you've got a really good Mo Salah card, even though it's not as good as quite a few of the previous ones. So yeah, a few duds in there, but some interesting ones. And there are a few very good cards in there as well. So there you go. Hopefully you found that useful. I will be reviewing the European one as well, so keep your eyes out for that one. Cheers for watching as always. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.